Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to talk about some problems that almost every new writer faces at the beginning of their writing journey. I am also going to share some problems that I personally faced when I was beginner. So, if you are a new writer or you are someone who has recently started writing and you are struggling with some of these things, then I think this video is going to be pretty relatable for you. Yes, there's one important thing. The solutions are at the end of the video. So make sure you watch the video till the end. And if you find this video relatable or useful, don't forget to like this video. Comment down below, share it with your writer friends, and subscribe to my channel. And also comment down below and tell me what should I talk about in my next video. So without wasting any more time, let's start the video. First of all, I am Sakshi and I started writing in April 2024. And when I started writing, I thought, okay, I have stories in my mind, I have ideas, I know what I want to write. But very soon, I realized something. Having a story in your head and actually writing that story on paper are two completely different things. You can have a beautiful scene playing perfectly in your imagination, but when you actually sit down to write it, suddenly, you don't know how to describe it. You know what should happen, but you don't know how to put it into words. And honestly, that's completely normal. Because later I realized that nothing has to be perfect when you are learning. You are going to make mistakes. You are going to write some bad sentences. You are going to rewrite scenes 100 times. You are going to delete things. You are going to change your ideas, and that's okay, completely fine. Because that's how we learn. So, today I'm going to talk about some of the biggest problems I faced as a beginner writer. And I'm pretty sure many of you will relate to at least one of them. Problem number one, sewing, not telling. So, the problem I faced when I started writing was, how do I sew something instead of simply telling it? I know what was happening in my scene. I know what my character was feeling. I know what the place looked like, but I did not know how to show it to the reader. I would simply explain everything. For example, instead of showing that my character was sad through her action, expression, body language, or dialogue, I would simply write, she was sad. Instead of making the reader experience the situation, I was just telling the reader what was happening. And honestly, in the beginning, I did not even realize that I was doing this. I thought I have told the reader what happened. I thought, what's wrong in it? But writing is not only about telling the reader what happened, it's about making the reader see it, feel it, and experience it. And learning that difference was a big part of my writing journey. Problem number two, I want to write, but I can't write. This is probably one of the most frustrating problems I have faced. Sometimes I genuinely wanted to write. I had the story, I had the ideas, I know what was supposed to happen in the chapter. But when I opened my notebook or phone, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Just a blank page. And if you are a writer, you probably know how horrible a blank page can feel when you desperately wanted to write something. Sometimes this happened to me after taking a long break from writing. I understand. When you stop writing for a while, that daily writing habit can disappear. But when you finally come back, you think like, okay, today I'm going to write. I also think like that. But then I sit down and I can't write. But it was not always because I had taken a break. Sometimes I had ideas in my head, but I could not convert those ideas into actual words. And honestly, it is such a horrible feeling for a writer. And I will tell you what helped me later in the video. Problem number three, I have ideas, but I'm not satisfied with them. Sometimes the problem is not I don't have any ideas. The problem is I have too many ideas, but none of them feels right. I would get different ideas for my story. For example, I needed to decide why my characters separated. I would think of one reason, right? But then another reason would come to my mind, like maybe a misunderstanding for what, maybe circumstances like career, maybe something else. But the problem was, I was not satisfied with any of them. And when you are writing a story, this can become a huge problem because you can't properly move forward if an important part of your story is not clear. And this is actually one of the reasons why Ishq Mubarak is still incomplete. Now you understand. Now you understand why I'm still writing my book. A lot of you have asked me, when are you going to start writing that book again? Or why have not you completed it yet? And honestly, this is one of the biggest reason. I was stuck on that particular track. I had ideas, but I was not satisfied with those ideas, and I feel like if I, as the writer, don't believe in or feel satisfied with an important part of my story, then it's going to be difficult for me to make the readers believe in it too. So sometimes the problem is not a lack of ideas, sometimes the problem is choosing the right one. Now let's talk about the solutions. Okay, guys, we have talked about all three problems. Now it's finally solution time. So let's start with the first one. Solution number one, how to improve. So don't tell. Okay, as I said earlier, knowing that you have to show something and actually knowing how to show it are two different things. So the first thing I would suggest is observe. Observe the world around you. Observe people. Observe their body language. Observe their expression. Observe how they react to different situations. Observe your surroundings and then try to put those observations into words. For example, imagine this. A girl is going to the market in the evening. She opens the door and steps outside. The sky is getting darker, a few drops of rain fall on her hand. She looks up and before she can even react, the rain suddenly becomes heavier. She looks toward the road, then back at her house, wondering whether she would go back inside. Now notice what we did. We did not simply say, like, it started raining. We saw the rain, we saw the girl, we saw her action, we saw her reaction. We created a pictures in the reader's imagination. And that's what sewing means. So, whenever you are writing a scene, don't just ask yourself what happened, ask yourself what would the reader actually see if they were standing here, and then write that. You can practice this every day. Choose something around you. Maybe someone sitting in a room, maybe a rainy evening, maybe someone drinking tea, anything. Observe it for a few minutes and then try to describe that scene without simply saying what is happening. With practice, sewing will slowly become natural to you. Okay? All the best. Let's talk about solution number two, when you want to write but can't. So, our second problem was, I want to write but I can't write. Maybe you have taken up a long break, maybe you have lost your writing habit, or you are sitting in front of a blank page and nothing is coming out. So, what can you do? First, don't stop writing completely, because if you completely stop writing, getting back into that habit become even more harder. Instead, try changing your environment. Sometimes the problem is not your story, sometimes it's the environment you are trying to write in. Find a place where you feel comfortable. Maybe sit on your terrace in the morning or try writing in the evening. Another thing that can help so much is music. You have probably heard people say listen to music while writing. But why? Because music can influence your mood and emotions. If you are writing an emotional scene and you listen to something that helps you get into that emotional state, sometimes it's become easier to connect with the scene. Samjhe? If you are writing something peaceful, listen something peaceful. इससे होता क्या है ना, इससे हम वो इमोशंस वो फील कर पाते हैं एंड देन लिखना आसान होता है. But don't let music become another distraction. Keep it like simple. The goal is to create an environment where your mind feels comfortable enough to write. And now, my fellow romance writers, just because we are romance writer does not mean romance has to exist in our lives, right? Okay, don't change the topic, guys. Let's move on. Okay, so now solution number 3, when you have ideas but are not satisfied. Now, this problem is actually very normal. Sometimes you have ideas, a lot of ideas, but you don't feel satisfied with any of them. And that does not necessarily mean your ideas are bad. Sometimes it simply means that you want to make your story better. You want a stronger idea, you want a better reason for something to happen. You want your story to have more depth, and that's actually a good thing. But the problem starts when you keep searching for the perfect idea and never actually write anything. So here's what you can do. Whenever multiple ideas come to your mind, write all of them down. Don't immediately reject an idea just because you are not sure about it. And there's another benefit to writing all of your ideas down. Maybe today one idea does not work, but 6 months later you might read that same idea and suddenly think, wait, this could actually work. And that's why I think you should always have a place where you keep your random story ideas. Because your old ideas can become inspiration for your new ideas. And sometimes one small idea that you wrote down months ago can become an entire story later. So don't throw away your ideas just because they don't work right now. Keep them, write them down. You never know when one of those old ideas might become the perfect new idea for you. Okay, one bonus tips for you all. If you feel harder to connect with your characters, put yourself in their shoes. Try to imagine that whatever is happening to your character is happening to you. Ask yourself, if this happened to me, what would I feel? How would I react? Would I break down? Would I be able to handle it? Would I run away from the situation? Would I fight through it? But remember, your character does not have to react exactly the way you would. You are using your own emotions to understand them, but their personality, past experience, and fears will decide how they react. And that's why you need to know your character properly. Because when you understand their emotion, you can express those emotions much better on the piece. Understood? With that, guys, we have finally reached the end of today's video. These were some of the problems that I personally faced when I started writing. And I really hope that at least one of these problems, or maybe even one of the solution, was useful for you. And if you are currently writing a book, a story, or even just thinking about starting one, all the very best for your writing journey. I genuinely hope you keep writing, keep learning, keep improving, and become the writer you want to be. And now I want you guys to tell me something in the comments. Which of these three problems do you face? Is it sewing and not telling? Is it writer's block? Is it having ideas but not being satisfied with them? Or and tell me where the solution actually useful for you or not. Which solution did you like the most? Which one helped you? And if you have another writing problem that I did not talk about in this video, tell me that too. Maybe I will talk about it in my next video. Also, if there's any particular topic you want me to make a video about, comment that as well. I read your comments, and if there's a topic that I can genuinely help you with, I will definitely try to make a video about it. And guys, don't forget to like this video and share it with your fellow new writers. Maybe someone who's struggling with writing right now needs to hear these things too. Please subscribe to my channel so you don't miss my future videos. Especially if I randomly decide to upload a long video someday. Because honestly, I don't even know when that's going to be happen. Care, that's a different problem. So yes guys, thank you so much for watching. I know I have talked a lot in this video, so I would not torture you anymore. Tata, bye bye. I will see you in the next video. And until then, keep writing, keep creating, and don't be afraid of making mistakes. Bye bye.